Good Monday morning. Happy Monday. Hope you're all doing very well. I've got some grammar here for you to do. Colons and semicolons today. So these are kind of more important and powerful pieces of punctuation. You don't want to mess them up. This will be good for you in post-secondary. So let's get to it. Understanding colons and semicolons. Firstly, what are colons and semicolons? That's them. Colon, semicolon. Colons. The colon, two dots arranged vertically, which is used to precede a list of items, a quotation, an expansion or explanation. Colons used to precede a list. We need some new kitchen utensils, a whisk, knives, spoons, and tins. No Oxford comma there. You can use an Oxford comma or not when you're using a colon. That's just, in this particular case, the person didn't. Just be consistent with the Oxford comma before preceding the and. So, colon comes before the list. And notice as well that before the list, there's an independent clause, so there's a complete sentence. So you could have a sentence that would read, we need some new kitchen utensils, period. And that's it. But obviously, the list makes it more specific. What comes after the clause does not have to be a complete sentence. Obviously, in this case, it's a list. And you can do it with bullets. Same thing, just in bullet form. And you don't have to use the word and. Okay, got it? All right, same sentence with different punctuation. The cake contained, the first one, so there's two different versions, I guess. The cake contained eggs, flour, sugar, butter, and milk. The cake contained the following ingredients: eggs, flour, sugar, butter, and milk. So let's see which one's right. Incorrect. That's not a full sentence. So the cake contained is not a full sentence. So it's not an independent clause. You don't have to put anything next to the colon. The colon stands alone, so the dash makes it incorrect. Correct. The cake contained the following ingredients. And incorrect, there's no independent clause and no need for the capitalizations. All right, there you go. The colon is also used to indicate that what follows is an explanation or elaboration of what precedes it. So an explanation. He was certain of one thing. He was in love. See what follows the colon is an explanation of what comes before. It explains what he was certain of. More examples. I propose a solution to the problem of tardiness. Harsher penalties. The solution mentioned in what precedes the colon. So it is explained in what follows, right? So I propose a solution to the problem of tardiness. That could be a sentence, and the answer, but it makes it more refined when you use the colon and an explanation. So although what comes before the colon has to be an independent clause, what follows it needn't be. It doesn't have to be after the colon. The situation is clear. If you do not study for the exam, you will fail. What comes after the colon elaborates on what comes before. So the situation is clear is a full sentence there. So only one of the following is correct. Can you identify which and explain why? Paris is gorgeous in the spring. London is lovely in the summer. Without any notice, he broke up with me. My mother taught me the most important lesson of my life: love without reserve. So which one of those is right? It's not that one. Those two clauses are unrelated. Paris and London are cities, but one doesn't explain the other. Without any notice, he broke up with me, but without any notice is not a full sentence. It's not an independent clause. This one's correct because you could just put a period at the end of life and it would still make sense, but with the colon and the little explanation afterwards, it makes even more sense. It's more clear even. All right, to introduce a quotation. I've always found encouragement in the words of Winston Churchill. Success consists of going from failure to failure without a loss of enthusiasm. Note that you use a capital letter as it is the start of the quotation. So, uses of colon. Introduce a list. Indicate what follows is an explanation or elaboration of what precedes it. And to introduce a quotation. Semicolons. Focusing on semicolons. Semicolon is a dot and comma arranged vertically, used in complicated lists and to link closely related independent clauses. In the spectrum of pauses, it falls between the period and the comma. So this is the one thing about the warning about semicolons is you make two related independent clauses, and we'll get to that. It can make it a pretty complex, just like there's a lot. The sentence can be quite loaded. Sometimes shorter sentences are better. So complicated lists. Many distinguished academics will be coming. Mr. Jones, professor of English, Dr. Roman, a linguistics specialist, and Sylvia Smith, a professor of ancient art. So it's a complicated list. They contain commas already within the list, so you use a semicolon to separate each item. The 4 filming locations will be Old Town Hall, Cambridge, Greenpoint Stadium, Richmond, Woodland High School, Surrey, and Mulberry Centre, West End. So, once again, using commas in the items of the list. This week's winners are Jane Salt, Chicago, Peter Plummer, New York, Victor Patel, Seattle, and Sue Chan from Baltimore. So, this is the more common use of semicolons, is to when you have two sentences that are related and you don't want to use a coordinating conjunction and a comma, you can use the two. You can link with a semicolon, but beware because it can kind of overwhelm the reader sometimes. So examine the following. My brother sleeps with the light on. He's afraid of the dark. So very closely related. It's grammatically correct, but it's kind of boring. You can make it a little bit better in these two small independent clauses and show that they relate to each other. Like you can add a comma, but a coordinating conjunction. So my brother is afraid of the dark my brother sleeps with the light on as he is afraid of the dark. Right? So you need the coordinating conjunction there. But it's not as concise, so a semicolon. My brother sleeps with the light on. He's afraid of the dark. In that case, it's probably the best way of writing that sentence would be to use a semicolon there. Shows that the two clauses are related to each other. We can use a semicolon between two main clauses where the independent clauses are closely connected in some way. So you can connect two full sentences when they're closely connected with a semicolon. He didn't see the car coming. Now his car is severely damaged. There are two full sentences. He didn't see the car coming, period. Now his car is severely damaged, period. Those are two short sentences. And you can connect them either using a coordinated conjunction, a comma, or a semicolon. Both of these clauses must be independent. They have to be full sentences. More examples. We made too many mistakes. We lost the game. Josie drives a BMW. Jim drives a Porsche. I had a huge meal. However, I'm already hungry again. Bad weather kept us from driving as far as we wanted. We decided to stop for the night. The clauses either side of the semicolon must be independent clauses. We talked about that. They have to be able to stand alone. If it's not a sentence, don't use a semicolon. They also have to be closely related in meaning, and you shouldn't capitalize the word that follows a semicolon unless it is a proper noun and is always capitalized, like a city or a person's name. Alright, only one of the following is correct. Betty loves burgers. She hates swimming. France is a beautiful country. Lovely restaurants and friendly people. Susan loves pizza. She has an obsession with cheese. Joseph goes hiking every weekend. He loves the outdoors. Alright, let's go through. Only one is correct. Which one is it? It's not Betty. Betty loves burgers. She hates swimming. They're unrelated. France is a beautiful country. Lovely restaurants and friendly people. This is not an independent clause. So lovely restaurants and friendly people is not a sentence, so you can't use a semicolon there. Susan loves pizza. She has an obsession with cheese. That's correct. Joseph goes hiking every weekend. He loves the outdoors. You don't have to capitalize, so if you made a small h there, it'd be fine. but you don't capitalize after a semicolon. So, recap. Complicated lists with internal punctuation. Relate independent clauses. Related, so to link related independent clauses, excuse me. So, they're not just used for smiley faces. Haha. The end. So there's a few little worksheets there for you to do on the page, on the web page, and we'll be back on Wednesday. We have a short story at the end.